I have disturbing news to impart to you, young Brock Vieira. We are down to our last 2 weeks of the regular season. I believe that's correct. And then Army Navy, and then championship games. Right?
Yep,
I'm right? Okay, just
you're
making sure.
absolutely right. I know.
That is absolutely insane to me. I'm so far behind. But here we are. Tempest Fugate. Time waits for none of us. So we are soon to be joined by the one, the only Donovan James, who will help us. Speaking of things that don't have much time, the Pac-12. It's something that doesn't have much time left. The Pac-12 will soon be joining the Hup Mobile um, motor car company. Will soon be joining, you know, I guess crystal radio sets. I don't know if kids still play with those. Probably not.
Probably not.
Uh, Probably not. Soon be joining the original, old school chunky that was about this big, and you could barely eat one, and it cost 25 cents. But all those things, sadly, have gone the way of the dodo bird, and soon the Pac-12 will join them in the dustbin of history. What will be your favorite memories of the Pac-12 as it shuffles off this mortal coil?
Pac-12 After Dark holds a
There
very
we
special
go.
place in my heart. But the Pac-12 conference in general does. See, for some kids growing up, they're the popular kids in school. They got a lot of things to do on the weekends, and they really don't have time, attention, or even care to follow football. I wasn't one of those kids. I wasn't necessarily a popular guy. I spent most of the weekends growing up at my house with my family, and I appreciate those memories. But some of the things that really helped pass the time was the Pac-12 playing football, whether that be Pac-12 after dark, Pac-12 on the weekdays, whatever it might be. The conference has served, especially for a kid like me from Hawaii, I I don't want to use the word a friend, but a distraction from the world around me. It was an escape and a way to imagine a different world, to witness greatness, to enjoy competitive nature and the violent intensity of the game. There's so many great memories that I have of the conference, whether that be when the Rogers brothers up at Oregon State defeated USC, or when USC went up to Washington and Sarkeesian was able to beat um, the Trojans when Matt Barkley was injured. You know, or other times is when Rick Neuheisel was supposed to be the great savior and flamed out, but Jim Mora came in with Brett Hundley and completely changed things around at UCLA. Other times is the rise of Arizona State. The success they had under Todd Graham and then Herm Edwards, and then their eventual collapse. Arizona with that one spectacular season under Rich Rodriguez, and somehow they would always upset Oregon, who was the top dog in the conference for many years. I got to witness the rise of Oregon under Chip Kelly, and then eventually Mark Helfrich as well. You got to see the air raid with Washington State. You got to see the Huskies under Chris Peterson. You got to see these great teams led by great men, surrounded by great communities. And unfortunately, the tradition of the Conference of Champions will be no more. The teams will go off into their new homes, whether that be the new Pac-2 that's linking up with the Mountain West, or the teams going to the Big Ten, or the teams going to the Big 12. We're losing a major part of history, and it's a very sad moment for me. A West Coast guy who appreciates these traditions, who appreciates the Apple Cup, who appreciates, you know, having the Pacific Northwest be a hub of incredible football. The Civil War, we're gonna miss out on that as well, and it's it's just a tough time for me because I know what the Pac-12 meant to me, and I wish that I got to share the greatness of it with the future generations because it means a lot.
Well, what better lead in to our guest than for you mentioning all these things like witnessing greatness, violent competition, a welcome friend and distraction, and all of those things are found right here in one Donovan James. So It is a distinct honor. It's a pleasure. It's a privilege to be joined by the man himself. I'll ask you about your favorite memories of the soon-to-be late and lamented Pac-12, Mr. Donovan James.
Oh, thank y'all for having me on. I appreciate it again. Always a pleasure to be on Friday night. Yeah, I was listening to what Brock was saying. I mean, same thing. I mean, I'm a West Coast kid, and I mean, it sucks like that. This conference is no longer just. I mean, I'm a hoops fan too, so some good basketball teams in the Pac-12, some matchups out there. Pac-12 after dark, super fun. Obviously, covering Trojans Wire and growing up an SC fan, just a lot of fun times out there watching Oregon, the rise of them, like Brock said before, and just the history of the Pac-12. I mean, yeah, he mentioned Oregon State too, with the Rogers brothers and all. I'm a big quarterback guy, so a lot of great quarterbacks, whether it's Aaron Rodgers or Lynott or whoever. Like, I mean, so many guys watching, top quarterbacks, Joey Heisman, Joey Harrington, out there, and just doing a lot of Elite 11 stuff I've done in high school football recruiting. It's been super fun. Watching a lot of these kids grow, and I just remember for me, obviously like USC back in mid 2000s, winning back-to-back titles and watching Marshawn and watching my cousin play in the Pac-12. I got to go to a lot of games because he played at Cal Berkeley with Jared Goff and a lot of those dudes out there. So yeah, I mean, Pac-12 had a lot of moments for me. Whether it be the Stanford upset, that was crazy. Like he said, the Civil War, I believe he said it as well. So many moments, man. Even during COVID, it was super crazy out there. So yeah, a lot of transfers coming in, like Gardner Minshew. That was fun watching him and getting to interview him, and a lot of these guys that I was able to interview in the Pac-12 was super fun. What Khalil Tate, so many dudes, man. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun ride. We got some more games to go though, so I'm excited to see how it ends. For the Pac-12. But yeah, I'm excited for the conference, for the teams. I know a lot of them are moving on. I hate that. I wish the Pac-12 was still sticking together, but obviously they're not. So it'd be interesting to see what these schools do in the ACC, Big Ten, wherever else they're going. There's so many different teams going different places. Still don't know about the other two, but yeah, I'm excited to see what happens for the rest of the year though, for sure.
Yeah, and I kind of just want to go off of that. And some of the other traditions that just came to mind that are going to be forgotten about is one, the Joe Roth game. And for the people who don't know, Joe Roth was a California, the late great Joe Roth was a California quarterback who won the Pac-8 at a time in the late 70s. He ended up passing away to cancer, I think, at the age of 22 or 23. And every year, Cal wears special jerseys whenever they play USC or UCLA to honor the greatness that was Joe Roth. And going back on it, the amount of quarterbacks that have come out of the Pac-12 that have achieved some type of success, whether at the college level or the pro level, is just astonishing. Just the sheer amount. I know Donovan touched on it for a little bit. The West Coast offense was born for this conference. Honestly, when it comes to offensive play, the innovation has come from the Pac-12 or just the Pac-8 or Pac-10, whatever it was called at that time. We don't have guys like Warren Moon in the league if it's not for Don James and Washington Huskies. We don't have guys like
the
Jack
real
Thompson,
Don James,
the national champion Don James, right? And you go out to Washington State, guys like Drew Bledsoe, Ryan Leaf, Jack Thompson, and then Tim Rosenbeck, I believe his last name.
Tim Rosenbaugh.
Right?
Tim Double M Rosenbaugh.
Exactly, Tim Double M Rosenbaugh. Exactly. A player like him, players like them, that's 4 first-round picks in Pullman, Washington. You go Oregon, obviously Harrington, touch on Herbert, Dan Fouts. You can touch on even Anthony
Norm
Brown
Van Brocklin, Frankie Albert. Let's do it up right.
No, you're absolutely right. We could go down the list of each school, and there's either a first round pick or Hall of Fame quarterback from each one, and sometimes even both. It's really sad to see like a place that was so inspiring, especially at the pro level. When it comes to the West Coast offense, disappear. Bill Walsh got his start at Stanford, when it comes to his head coaching opportunity. And, at Cal, of course, we remember Jeff Tedford, his quarterbacks. But there was obviously Goff, but I believe he was under someone else, but Rogers and Kyle
Dykes.
Bowler, but you had Rogers and Bowler and a bunch of really great quarterbacks. Then you even go a little bit more south to Arizona State. You got Jake the Snake Plummer, guys like that coming out, and the diversity that you had and the passion, the Desert Storm defense out in Arizona, the Washington Huskies that would always beat Michigan in the Rose Bowl. You had the great linebackers that came out of USC. Obviously, Junior Seau was like the greatest, but you talk about going down the list, it's name after name. And there was a time where you had Ray Malaluga, Brian Cushing, and I think Clay Matthews. All the same
Kaluka Maivia also got drafted from that same as a backup off that same team.
My boy Groots too. Matt Grutigan, my boy Groots. He got a little
Lofa Tupu was another linebacker that played great at USC. And what are we gaining by losing these traditions? I really don't know. I just want to touch on those legends and just kind of give them their flowers because, like I mentioned earlier, and like you guys have been mentioning, these guys mean a lot to the game and they mean a lot to myself. And I just want them to really get the appreciation they deserve before they get buried on the history of the Big 10 or the Big 12 or whatever.
Yeah, and as an East Coast kid, right, it was very different for me. And of course, I'm born pre-ESPN. I mean, we didn't have cable until I was about 13. So it was a struggle watching West Coast football, but I loved it, particularly, and I'll just call a spade, because it was one of the few, the Big 10 and the not Pac-8, then later Pac-10, were the only big conferences that were thoroughly integrated or fairly thoroughly integrated at the time. There was a black starting quarterback, in 1969 at USC. I mean, that, like that, even though he ended up playing defensive back in the NFL, once again, that's another show. But yes, you just mentioned Warren Moon. I mean, Warren Moon, they tried to move him to wide receiver in the NFL, but these are guys that were getting a chance to play quarterback at big schools, which would have been impossible at most places. And once again, even in Ohio State, they had some black quarterbacks, but they didn't throw the ball at Ohio State at that time. So they were guys who were running option. But you had black quarterbacks throwing the football on the Pacific Coast. And outside of black college football, the only way you could see that was watch, Pac-8, later Pac-10 football. So I got to see, Wood and what was the other one? John. There's another one that McKay had at USC. He had two black quarterbacks in his time there, and then later Rodney Peete under John Robinson.
Yep.
Or was it Ted Tollner? Was it Ted Tollner when Rodney Peete was there? I'm trying to remember the timeline of USC coaches, but I guess we shouldn't get bogged down in that. But for me, the imprinting moment, for some reason, I always rooted against Notre Dame.
It was Tollner, yeah.
It was Tollner. I thought it might have been Ted Tollner.
Because Salisbury was right after him, right? Or right before him, right?
Before him. I think it was right. Salisbury was right before. So yeah. Sean Salisbury played with my cousin. I had a cousin named Byron Darby who played at USC, and he played with Sean Salisbury. But I
love Sean, man.
He's awesome. And
shout out. He's a lot.
Yes, he's more than yes. I mean, he's survived a lot, but that's a whole other show. Where was I? Okay, so the imprinting moment for me was 1974, and Notre Dame gets off to a 24-zip lead against USC, and USC comes back and drops 55 on them with Anthony Davis kicking off the slaughter with a tremendous kickoff return. And that did it for me. The cool uniforms, traveler, black people getting a chance to play positions they normally didn't get a chance to play at big schools. And what school was bigger than USC? I mean, the Heisman Trophy was sort of like rotated back to USC every 3 or so years, it seemed like, for a while there. I mean, they had Mike Garrett. They had obviously Orenthal James Simpson and Charles. I mean, right. Let me forget the late great Ricky Bell, and the aforementioned Anthony Davis. And then we get into Charles White, Marcus Allen. I mean, almost had back to back, right? Charles White, Marcus Allen, and then a little bit of a break, a little bit of a gap. Let some other people have the trophy for a while, but later you come back with Leinart, and I still recognize in my house Reggie Bush still is a Heisman Trophy winner.
Same here.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can do what you want to do with your home, but in my house, when he walks through my door, he is a Heisman Trophy winner. I want to get to obviously talking to Donovan about the rest of the season, the last probably Pac-12 championship game, and the immediate future of the Pac-2, as we now refer to them, the whatever you want to call them, and what he's hearing or what he might know about that. But let's start with the last couple of weeks of games, and then walk me through them. So Donovan, which games are you sort of highlighting and why, and what should we look for in these last few weeks?
Is this just Pac-12 games, or are we going?
We're going to start with Pac-12, and then we'll touch on some others. But let's start with the Pac-12.
Okay, cool. Yeah, obviously the big one for me is crosstown rivalry battle of Los Angeles, UCLA, USC. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know we were going to be here with these teams with these records. USC's obviously lost a lot of games in the past month, and UCLA has too, with losing to both Arizona schools. So, and now Chip is kind of, I don't think he's going to be retained as UCLA coach, but I guess he's fighting for his job. From everything we've heard, like, he's not going to be the coach next year, but we'll see what happens. But so yeah, I mean, that's a big game for me, just because still have some stuff to play for. A lot of dudes will be fighting for jobs next year. We'll see kind of where the headspace is for SC. I know Sierra Wright is no longer on the team anymore. I don't know if y'all heard about that, but I actually did an article on that a couple of days ago, and news was broke before. But he's no longer on the team anymore. He left the team. He got benched. Obviously, he's an actor too. He was in Space Jam 2, played LeBron James' son. So he has another career path he might choose. I'm not sure really. With the writer's strike being over, he might choose that path. I know he's kind of just left the team. He kind of just walked away after the game. Nobody heard from him. He just left. So not a really good look for him. And then got some injuries on defense for them. And UCLA's a little banged up too. So it'll be an interesting game to kind of see what happens really. Because this slate for the Pac-12 with these two teams, you would think, after last year what UCLA did and what USC was able to accomplish and the talent they brought back, that they would be playing possibly for a berth in the Pac-12 title game, but that's no longer the case. But I think it's still a lot to play for both of those teams, and I kind of want to see, UCLA's offense has been anemic to say the least this year, and USC's defense has been horrible. So I kind of want to see who wins that battle, really.
Is that what the kids call a mid-off?
Yeah. USC's defense versus UCLA's offense is definitely a mid-off for sure. I know Ethan Garbers is starting at quarterback. He's
oh Lord help us.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, he hasn't been great. He's been the best quarterback on their team, but like I said, he would though. But because Dante Moore's been horrible, and honestly, everybody else has too. Chase is like, I don't know if y'all know about Chase. I had him on Bill's show a while ago. He's like not. He's doing a lot of other stuff besides playing football, dude. He's like one of the smartest dudes I've ever been around in my life, Chase Griffin. I'm not saying he's not a. I mean, he's like the fourth-string quarterback, so you don't really hold him to the high standards like Garbers or Moore. But I think he's like a fifth-string quarterback, actually. Technically, he was the fifth quarterback on the depth chart. But he is like probably going to do some he's already doing public speaking, and he's probably going to be in like the government. I'm thinking like a senator probably in California or Texas, where his home state is, one day, because he's kind of just like that dude's super smart. I like him a lot. But no, anyway, yeah, I mean that game's huge for me, so I want to see. Tonight, I mean, there's Colorado, Washington State. I like Cam Ward. I like Shador. I want to see the points being put up in Pullman. I got the over on both quarterbacks, by the way. But
me too.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what's up. Something's gonna go wrong though for me. I feel like so. Well, maybe you're better. Hopefully, you're better luck for that.
Well, let's see. Who did I take? I didn't take Cam Ward, not because of Ward himself, because that offense has been so iffy. But I definitely took the Shador Sanders over. I just hope they put Hunter on offense on every snap, or I'm screwed.
Hunter's 63.5 over on receiving yards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not to turn this to a gambling show, but if you like him tonight, then there you go.
If
It's
you've got
low, that's
Donovan
low.
James, if
First
Donovan
off-
James is there, it turns to a gambling show automatically. So that's fine. Everyone
Life,
knows
Yeah.
that.
life is a
It's
gamble,
true.
and sometimes you take risks and they pay off, and sometimes you hire Jake Dickert to be your head coach and it doesn't. And why
Yeah.
Jake Dickert is entering this game with a job is quite frankly beyond me. And if they don't want Cam Ward to go to USC, they better get their butts in order and get a better head coach. But hey,
Oh, don't listen. Also, don't listen to me for gambling because I have been not good this year at all.
oh yeah,
So,
don't listen to me either. Killer Williams
Yeah,
has
yeah,
screwed
yeah,
me
that's-
like 3
yeah.
times.
yeah, don't listen to me again. But anyway, that's another time for another show. Bill said gambling show. If you want to do that, that's fine. But
Okay.
yeah, obviously, yeah, I'm looking those 2 games coming up to mind, and then obviously Arizona and Utah. And I know Brock is a big Arizona guy, and they've done a really good job.
Yes,
And Coach
sir.
Fish has done a really good job. And obviously Utah always, he pulls this shit out of his. I don't know how he does it. Sorry for cursing on shit. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, but I don't know how.
I guess you are now. Keep going.
Sorry, I don't know how Kyle Whittingham does it, man. With the quarterback,
Because he's really good. He's a really good coach.
I mean, they're playing guys out of position and playing linebackers at running back, and there's quarterbacks I've never heard of. And our database is deep, man, for quarterbacks. Like, it's what I do for a living, but like, I don't know who some of these guys are. Like, he's had at quarterback, and they're still somehow, some way scoring points and ranked. So I gotta give him credit, man. And sorry for cursing again, but I usually don't.
We're here now. Usually it's Brock who.
Yeah, I
who's
want to
the
say,
one that-
Like,
But
if
it's
we're
his
gonna
show,
get
though.
shut
It's
down,
not
we would
mine.
have got shut down a long time ago.
I'm like, yeah, it's his show, not mine. But yeah, Oregon will handle business. I don't know what the spread is for this game. I don't have it on top of in front of me. It is a kind of a trap game to go to Arizona State because they play pretty well this year. I know they're not that good, like their record, but like if you watch them play, they play pretty good for what another team that's had a lot of injuries this year and a lot of walk-ons playing. I mean, quarterback. They were what on their Jacob Conover was playing. Yeah, Jacob Conover was playing a little bit. I mean, they got a lot of different dudes playing quarterback, and they've had a lot of injury. O-line, man. I mean, they already weren't good at O-line, and then they started guys. They had to move their nose guard to left guard or something. I mean, he hadn't played
guard.
Holy mackerel.
Since high school, right? First time since he was 16 years old, he's played guard.
And then, obviously Dillingham, he's got a relationship with Oregon staff and everything. So I think that's a game to kind of keep. I watch all these games. Like I said, we don't have much Pac-12 left, so I'm kind of keeping my eye on every game. But that one's a little bit of trap-ish game. I think Oregon will handle business, but if the spread's like over 21, I would definitely take it.
Oh,
but which I don't know what it is. Like I said, obviously you got the last of Cal Stanford. You know what I mean? Well, not the last, not the last. They're going to ACC. They're going to ACC together. That's right.
Yeah.
It won't be played at the end of the season every year.
Right.
It might be like week 2 now.
Dumb.
Yeah, at least they're still playing each other. But yeah, I know it's not going to be. It probably will not be the last game of the season like it normally is. It's probably going to be like week 2 now or whatever.
Which is idiotic. I just want to add.
Yeah.
Like it should either be
it
should be the first game of the season, which would be
Or
dope.
the last.
Or the last. Like having these rivalry, like the victory bell being this week irritates me to the level that I cannot, really like express. It should be the last game of the season, in my opinion. Unless USC is playing Notre Dame, which then that should be the last game of the season. Then USC should play UCLA, and I don't understand why college football has his head up his hoo-ha when it comes to these rivalry games, because these games deserve to be played. Like the only rivalry games that shouldn't be played at the last game of the year is third Saturday in October, third Saturday in September, Red River. That's about it. Like the big game, Victory Bell, Apple Cup, Governor's Cup. Heck, even for UNLV, that's right, Territorial Cup. Even for UNLV, Fremont Cannon, whatever it is. I wish they'd bring back the Utah BYU Holy War as well. Yeah, I guess the juice is pumping. But yeah, all those games should be at the end of the season, and I hate the fact that it's not. I'd have to express that for the people watching it. I think it's absolute bull. And to go to Donovan's point real quick, Arizona State in Pac-12 competition has been very competitive. They should have beat Cal. They should have beat Colorado. They were on the verge of upsetting Washington in Seattle. And then the only bad loss they have is at Utah. Like even the USC game, yeah, they lost by 2 touchdowns, but they were in it for a long time. Drew Pine was carving up that SC defense. So,
which says more about SC's defense than it does about Drew Pine. But
he's also played them a couple of times already, so I think that helped him out a lot. Yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, you look at all these games: USC, California, Colorado, Washington. They beat UCLA at UCLA. They beat Washington State. I don't think Oregon had a cakewalk in this game. I have the Ducks on upset alert in this one, and I think this weekend could drastically change the outlook of the Pac-12 championship game.
Yeah, so, it's 23.5, by the way, just to give you
Gotcha. So yeah,
I would still take Oregon. I think they can cover. I don't. Just Bo Nix is gonna have however many yards he wants, really, versus the secondary. He's just on another level right now. The way he's playing, he's just. I mean, Dan Lanning's coaching his ass off too. So
he is. But Kenny Dillingham, Kenny Dillingham knows Nix's weaknesses.
Yeah,
he had him at Auburn. Yeah. He had him at Oregon. All right, he had him when he was throwing into double coverage against Georgia. I'm just saying if Arizona State is willing to be courageous and do some different types of disguised coverages in their defense, I think they can really confuse Nix, and Bo, the turnover machine Nix, might be launching them balls right to the defense.
Yeah, I don't know who's starting at quarterback. Is it Trenton Bourguet? Is that who's starting this weekend?
I believe so. I like Bourguet.
Okay. Rashada came back to practice, but he's not playing. I know he's back. That's a teaser. He came back to practice, but he's like not even like suiting up. But that's good. He's practicing. But anyway, yeah. So obviously the last game being Washington, Oregon State is the big one. I got to the other games; those are just the appetizers. But number 5 versus number 11. It's another upset alert game. I mean, I have Washington winning, but I think it could be close. I just think at the end of the day. They'll score points when they need to, which Washington does. I don't trust Oregon State's passing game too much versus Washington. I think they're going to create some pressures and they'll win, I think. But it'll be a tough game in Corvallis, and it's like one of the biggest home games they've had ever there. Right. So, I mean, this is huge for them. So, but I got Washington. But, yeah, I mean, a good slate for the Pac-12 this weekend. Got not many games left, like I said, so it'll be interesting to see how this works out. Hopefully I would like to see Oregon and Washington keep winning at this point for the Pac-12 sake, but we'll see what happens. I would hate them to both lose this weekend. I mean, that would cancel them out of the playoff. I want one of them to get in. So, I mean, at this point, I'm rooting for them, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, those are the big games. I mean, obviously, like I said, even at Cal Stanford, like I didn't really touch on that. I talked about it briefly, but that game, even though they're moving to the ACC, they'll still play, but it just means more like this is the last time they're in the Pac-12 playing the game. Like you said, it won't be at the end of the season anymore, like Brock said. So, and it's at Stanford, and these teams are still fighting for a lot of stuff. I mean, Cal's had their up and downs. They got a great running back that everybody knows. Stanford, got some good players on their team too. So, and I really like what they're building, what he's doing there. So we'll see what happens next. It's kind of a big game for Coach Wilcox too, man. I mean, I don't think they're gonna buy him out because the finances that Cal is dealing with right now is kind of rough. But I mean, he's kind of needs to win this game because I mean, he definitely could get fired if they lose. I mean, if they get blown out by Stanford, he might get fired. They don't want to go into the ACC with and they've already kind of struggled with a lot of different things off the field. Right. With Cal. And I'm not talking about arrest or anything. I'm just saying just a lot of their the finance department and stuff they've been doing with their recruiting. They haven't been doing the best I think they could. But I trust Coach Spav and Justin Wilcox to pull off the win. But
you do?
It's going to be tough. Yeah, I think they'll win the game. I like the little quarterback they got, man. I can't think of his name right now.
Oh, Mendoza. Fernando.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I like him.
Me too. I like him a lot, but Justin Wilcox.
Obviously, Jaden Ott is insane.
Jaden Ott is a dude.
Yeah,
is an absolute stud. Yeah, but
I like they got some receivers. I mean, I know they lost their best receiver to UCLA, but they still got a couple receivers that are pretty solid over there. But yeah, I mean, Stanford's good too, though. They've shown me some stuff, and they've had some moments too. I'm not saying they're good, but I'm saying this is a pretty even matchup. It could go either way. I think Cal to win, but I think it could go either way.
Yeah, I think Cal. I think Cal as well. I think that this is a nice way for Justin Wilcox to end his tenure at Cal. He goes out with a big win against Washington State in a back and forth game. He can secure a third straight big game victory against Stanford this week, and then he's in UCLA for what will probably be his next job as a defensive coordinator. Cal needs to get rid of Justin Wilcox.
I don't think they're gonna fire him because of the buyout, man. That's the only thing.
Which is infuriating.
They don't really. They can't really afford to pay. Like he's one of the top. He's like the second highest paid coach in the Pac-12.
Which is ridiculous, by the way. Like they gave him an extension.
That extension, yeah.
For after 2021, which might have added he went 5-7. All right, so that I don't know what they were thinking, but all I'm saying is if they can somehow come up with the finances, there's a guy.
Their AD play with John Wilcox's dad, so they're pretty close to each other.
Yeah, that's always what.
Well, also, Oregon was going to hire Wilcox back to. I mean, he obviously played at Oregon, and he was kind of a legend there. Dave Wilcox. I mean, he's got. I think everyone in his family played football.
Everybody, his father, his grandfather.
That extension, he went 5. I think they were scared to lose him to Oregon. That's why they gave him so much money because Oregon was gonna take him. I'm glad they didn't. Dan Lanning was a better hire, but
yeah, because Justin Wilcox, I mean, he's not a bad coach. I'll make that very clear, but he's not a good coach for Cal. And the reason why Cal needs an offensive coach no matter what, because they just do not have the resources to build a good defense. It's plain and simple. They can have good defensive players, but they will never have an across the board solid defense because of certain
I agree with
things.
That. Yeah.
Right?
Especially going into the ACC now, they're gonna have.
That's what I'm saying. I think you go out to San Jose, you get Brett Brennan, you bring him up to Cal, and Cal's gonna be a team that's gonna make a bowl game every single year with him. But what do I know, right? I'm just a guy
that
does YouTube videos. Yeah, I'm not an AD. I don't make these decisions, even though I probably could make better ones.
A little nepotism going on at Cal, I guess, a little bit.
A little bit, a lot of it. Please, I'm not trying to talk about another man's money, but in what world does Justin Wilcox deserve $3.05 million a year? Now, I understand that after California, thank you, after California taxes, it comes up to $500,000. But I'm just saying, in what world does he deserve that kind of money? In a world where Chip Kelly is going to lose his job at UCLA for no discernible reason, Justin Wilcox is getting paid $3.05 million a year to win 4 games.
On top of what he made before, too.
Yeah, exactly. He was down at home to Idaho by 17. They won, but still.
Yeah, I think with Wilcox, I mean, like I said, obviously, having my cousin played for Wilcox for 4 years, I think. I think he had what was the coach there before Wilcox? He played for Sonny Dykes. Played for Sonny for 2 years, and then Wilcox for 3. Another thing too, like I was saying off the field, man, just to keep it 100, if you notice, I told a lot of former Cal players because my cousin played there. He does not. They don't really like him, honestly. He doesn't have a lot of guys come back, so it's a lot of stuff like that too for Wilcox. The boosters and stuff like that, and the former players don't really come back and they don't mess with them, for lack of a better word. You know what I mean?
I think you had a better word planned, but I think you
don't mess with them.
Leaving it in the chamber.
Yeah. I'm not saying that everybody, and there's a lot of the guys that were Sonny Dykes guys. It's more the older guys. Now his new guys, they like him and everything. I've never heard anything bad about him. But a lot of the guys that he retained from that roster that Sonny Dykes had, and Tedford recruited a lot of those guys too when he was there. But they don't like him. They like Coach Spav, and there's some other coaches on staff, but not him or Tuyasa Sopa that was there either. But he's gone now. But they just don't like him. And I feel like he's not really I don't think he's the right guy for the job either, man. I like him. He's a good DC, and he can probably coach somewhere else. But I would say Brennan would be probably a good hire for Cal if they want to go that route. But they, like you said, was it $3.5 million, whatever it is?
3.05. Yeah, because you're probably right because they extended him to 2027. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, man. 2027, and like I said, the AD's already came out and said, "Well, we got confidence in him going for." I mean, they all say that, but I think he actually he loves them.
Well, when the AD's on the unemployment line, he only has himself to blame.
Yeah, exactly. True.
I'm just saying.
I'm going to move us forward towards the championship game. Who will be playing in the Pac-12 championship game and why?
I want to see. What do you guys think first? I want to see what you guys.
I love when you answer a question with a question. I
mean, well, at least Brock. I mean,
okay, but no, I'll take a shot too. But go ahead, Brock.
This is a tough one, but I'm gonna go with Washington and Arizona.
Oh,
okay.
Because I think Oregon State is going to pull off back-to-back victories to end the year, and I think that they're going to defeat Washington, and then they're going to defeat Oregon in the Civil War. And if that happens, that would put Washington at 7-1. That would put Oregon at 6-2, and then that put Oregon at 6-2. Arizona wins out. They would also have 2 losses, and I also have Oregon on upset alert against Arizona State. So if things happen that I think is going to happen, and if Oregon and Washington both lose this weekend, then if Arizona wins out, then that would work. So I have a crazy pick, but Washington and Arizona in the Pac-12 championship game. And then in that game, I have Arizona upsetting the Huskies to go to their first ever Rose Bowl in the last year. Wait, no, never mind. Rose Bowl was a college football playoff game. Never mind. It was almost poetic. Disregard that last part. But I have Arizona and Washington in the Pac-12 championship game.
Man.
Wow.
Okay.
I will say, wow.
I'm a big believer in Fafita. I think
Jed Fish.
I'm a big believer in Fish. Cowing and McMillan are some absolute animals. They got a really good tackle as well. I love their defense. Justin Flo no longer has to be like, the Justin Flo of old. He can just be, see ball, get ball. And I really like Arizona.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Wow.
I know, that's a stunner.
Yeah,
When that happens, Jed Fish is probably not going to be Arizona's coach next year.
I think Arizona's going to give him the bag. I think they're going to get all the money in Tucson possible. They
better. They better give him some of that Lou Olson money.
No, for real.
Wow.
They got to take from the basketball program.
To the football program. Yeah. Exactly.
They got to take because that guy. Obviously the NFL is going to be. He's an NFL guy, really, and so he can go anywhere. He can go back to the NFL as a head coach, or he can go to whatever other school wants to hire him in the college football. So they're going to give him the super bag.
Oh,
even if it doesn't happen, Brock. He's done a good job regardless to have them where they are. I like that pick. That's cool. I didn't think Arizona would be this good as fast. I thought it'd be like maybe next year with their roster, but he's done a hell of a job, man. I can't give him. Maybe coach of the year, possibly, if that happens, for sure. But definitely coach of the year if that happens.
Just got to put in a shameless plug real quick. Everyone watching, we are obviously part of Team NBS Media, and on there, there's an article called The Rise of the Wildcats. That's something I wrote in the preseason talking about that Arizona, how good they were going to be this year. If you guys want to check out my work, please look up The Rise of the Wildcats on Google so I can get some of that ad revenue money.
I love it. Nothing quite like a shameless plug. I am not nearly so courageous as my co-host. I think the world wants to see, and of course the world really gets what it wants, but they might this time. I think we might see Oregon, Washington Part 2. And first of all, no offense to Brock's incredibly interesting scenario, but that would be like a TV ratings. It would still do okay, but that would it take a little bit of a. If you want to get,
a lot of it.
Right. If you want to get those 18 to 34-year-olds riveted, give them, a double shot of that Bo Nix and Michael Penix and those ridiculous receivers and a slightly less ridiculous receiver, Tony Franklin, who's still pretty darn good, and the running backs. And that was a fantastic game. I think it was one of the best games of the year, and I think people want to see it again. Doesn't mean it'll happen necessarily, but I think that's what I'm predicting. Not because I have some real strong feeling that Oregon State can't do what Brock's saying, because they can. Oregon State's dangerous. They're 8-2, and if if not for playing games someplace other than Corvallis, they'd be undefeated. They're 3-2 on the road, but they are untouched at home. So Washington, Oregon, and Oregon State are all thus far immaculate at home. Obviously, something's got to give, as they say. USC I think will gut its way to 8-4, which feels bad, but not as bad as 7-5 feels. Utah always scares me. Utah scares me every year. This year is no different. Anybody who plays Utah automatically goes on upset alert for me. It doesn't make sense. But Utah can beat anybody.
Especially at home.
Right. Nobody is safe in Rice-Eccles Stadium. No one. I don't care if you're Alabama. I don't care if you're Georgia. I don't care. I don't care who you are. Go into Rice-Eccles, you better have it buttoned up tightly. You better have gotten your rest. You better save your sightseeing for after the game. Tell your girlfriend you'll see her after the game. Tell your wife you'll see her after the game. Tell both of them you'll see them after the game.
Facts.
All of that. Like anything, all distractions. Get off social media. TikTok after. Anything else after. Utah they're like a shark, right? Just lurking. And you say to yourself, I'm a good ways away from the shark. The shark can't get all the way from where it is to me. I'm just going to frolic in this your water. Everything's fine. You think so. And then you hear some minor chords in the background. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, Utah scares me, man. I don't trust anybody to just walk into Rice-Eccles and beat Utah.
Exactly.
So that's my one
coach team. Whenever your defense coordinator Morgan Scalley isn't saying racially insensitive comments, he coaches up a phenomenal defense. Yes. And offensively, they do just enough to win. I thought that the shout out a couple years ago, Tavion Thomas was going to be the next great Pac-12 running back. Obviously, that didn't come to fruition, but they for some reason they have a system that just works. They don't have the names this year. Obviously, losing Dalton Kincaid was a tough loss, but it's efficient is the best way to put it. And how Whittingham has not gotten an offer he can't refuse yet is kind of strange, considering what he's done in the past 20 years at Utah as head coach.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, for a guy that took over a team that was originally in the Mountain West Conference, he's played in 3 out of the original 4 BCS bowl games.
Yep.
And the only game is not the Orange Bowl. He hasn't won the Rose Bowl, but he's won the Fiesta Bowl, and then he beat Alabama. In the Sugar Bowl. Mm-hmm. Utah, let me repeat that. Utah went to Louisiana and beat Alabama. That's ridiculous. Yep. I don't know how he doesn't get the love that he deserves.
Yeah, no, he's putting together the BCS Bowl Infinity Stones, as you just mentioned. And why Texas A&M or someplace that has all the money that God could ever give a team, a program, isn't just saying, look, we're just going to hand you a check and a pen. Whatever it takes, you write that down and we'll send a plane to get you. How these teams, these programs that have all the money in the world are not giving all of it to him is perplexing to me.
I don't think he'll ever leave. It doesn't matter.
Well, not at this point, but I mean, just look at his track record.
He's like 64 now, so he probably can leave. But he's probably straight.
No, I think it's set for he's gonna retire.
He's a young 64. He's a young good, 64. Riding that motorcycle.
He's in great shape. He's
2 weeks ago. Yeah, great shape. Yeah, him and Pat McAfee were lifting together and stuff.
Right. Here's what I'm saying. He's got 5 or 6 good years left in him. I would give him, if somebody can pay, as has been pointed out, Justin Wilcox, $3.05 million. I can give 2.5 times that per year to a guy who's going to possibly win me a national championship. If it takes him a couple of years to do it, I can live with that. And then maybe we get back there once or twice more before he retires. I can live with that too. He's going to coach, I think, at least another 5 years. And as you said, he looks great. He's on that Pete Carroll plan. I don't know whatever he and Pete Carroll were eating, but I should start eating it.
Well, I mean, Whittingham is I mean, he doesn't drink or smoke or anything. He's Mormon, so he looks good. That's
There
why
you go.
he stays out of trouble, man. That's what looks good. You know what I mean? Staying out of trouble. But so I have the same teams as you though, Bill. Oregon, Washington. So I mean, I don't really need to say much, I guess. But I probably should have went first, I guess. But no, no. I mean, I have Washington, Oregon too. But I mean, I could see the upset you're all saying with Oregon State and Arizona sneaking in too. I could see it, but I think I would stay chalk and say Washington, Oregon for sure.
Fair
And
enough.
yeah, Utah is obviously out of it, but I mean, that's still a team that go 9-3. They should go 9. Well, I don't know if they'll beat. I think actually Arizona might win. I don't know. That game's like a toss-up. I don't really know who's going to win that game. I would say Utah, but Arizona can win. I would say Utah if I had to bet my money on it, but it can go either way. And then they play Colorado. They should win that one too. So
I don't know. Jed Fish is slowly turning Arizona Stadium into the same type of level that Rice Eccles and Corvallis, whatever that's Research Stadium is.
Research,
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you look at their record at home this year, have they lost a home game yet? I'm not sure. I'm taking a look right now. I know they lost on the road to Mississippi State. I know they lost to USC. So their only loss at home was to Washington, which was by 7.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, that was Fafita's first it wasn't even his first start. I think he got thrown in midway through because Jaden Delora got hurt. So So I'm just saying, look at Arizona right now. They have an overtime loss to Mississippi State in Starkville. They lost by 7 to Washington State, and they lost by 2 to USC in triple overtime, a game they should have won if not for Caleb Williams. I mean, and then they're hosting Utah at home, and then they finish off at Arizona State. I mean, I think that Arizona is going to go to a New Year's Six bowl game. Honestly,
they've got a shot at it. Before we move on from Arizona, where do you think Jaden Delora ends up? I'll ask you, Brock, and then I'll ask you, Donovan. Where do you think Jaden Delora ends up?
So personally, I can't say my answer out loud. Professionally, professionally, I think that he goes to. Quick question: do you guys know how much eligibility Keens has left at Fresno State?
He has at least one more if he wants it. He's a redshirt junior.
Okay, then never mind that. I think that he might be part of the new regime down at San Diego State.
Oh, I don't hate that. They won't throw the ball as much as he likes, but okay.
I think Brady Hoke gets fired though. I think they bring in an offensive-minded head coach.
Oh, okay.
That's my theory.
Brady Hoke retired.
Oh, yeah, he did?
No, he didn't get fired. He got retired. Yeah.
Yeah, he's at the end of the season. He's retiring. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so instead of getting fired, he retired. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, he stepped down.
Yeah, he should have stepped down a year ago, but
okay. Same question to you, Donovan. Where do you think Jaden Delora ends up?
I mean, I like the San Diego State answer. They just don't have a coach yet, so it's kind of hard to say where if he's gonna go there. I like that though. It's off the top of my head. It's hard to say.
I think another dark horse spot just to kind of help out Donovan while he thinks about it is UCLA.
Oh, okay. I could see UCLA as. But don't they have a nice little stack of quarterbacks already?
I think a bunch of them are gonna hit the portal. That's my theory.
I'm trying to think I'm trying to think of a team that's a good one too. But I don't know who's coaching. You know what I mean? It's
that's the issue.
Yeah. I'm not saying you're not saying good teams. It's just the teams don't have a coach, so it's hard to say.
Yeah,
because I think you would want to go to a pass happy offense more so, like Bill said. But I mean, you just don't know.
Well, if it helps, I'm predicting that Jonathan Smith is going to end up at UCLA.
Oh,
that was one. So I did an article on that, and not to plug myself too, but I did an article on that. And
plug away. Tell people where they can find it, Donovan.
It's at Trojans Wire. We don't have a Bruins Wire yet. We'll next year, by the way, Brock. Well, I'm not supposed to say that. Well, next year.
I will get my resume in order.
Sorry, Patrick Sturgeon, if you're listening, or any of my bosses, I apologize. Please don't listen to this podcast. But
yes.
Even though you added Trojan Wire on Twitter underneath our video.
I did. He's too busy to be listening to me on Friday. He's got better stuff to do than listen to me on Friday night, I'm sure. Though. He's worried about his Kansas Jayhawks, I'm sure. That's where he went to school, so he's probably focused on them. And Jalen's staying, so I'm sure he's happy. But no, so Bruins, we obviously don't have a Bruins wire, but Trojans wire, we'll tap in and do some stuff like that. So I did a coaching job search on them, top 5, and Jonathan Smith was in there, so I could see that one for sure. I might actually I'll say San Diego State. Why not? I mean, I feel like they would go offense, the guy anyway. I don't know who they're going to go with, but I feel like it would be offensive guy. I say that, but I think Zach Arnett might go back to San Diego State. He's not an offensive guy, but I'll just say then. Oh, maybe no, not Cal, because I like their quarterback. Oh, the one you mentioned earlier, I like him.
Mendoza. I have another.
And I think Ethan Garbers might transfer to Cal too.
just because the bloodline thing.
I was about to say just to follow Chase's footsteps.
That and then Spav too. I think with Spav is a good. I think he's a little overrated now, but he's a pretty good quarterback coach still. I mean, he's like young. He's like almost my age. He's pretty young still. He's older. He's older than me, but
he's incredibly overrated. He's Graham Harrell.
He is. He's Oh, yeah. I think Graham Harrell's probably better than him.
I was gonna say.
No. A rock in the middle of a desert is better than Graham Harrell calling plays. Tell me I'm wrong. You guys tell me I'm wrong.
I thought you said they were equal. You say Spav's better?
Yeah. Graham Harrell left West Virginia and they got better.
Yeah, Spav's 37. That's crazy because he's been around for.
He's been around for about
like
8
my whole
years.
life.
So something to pay attention to is I think
what about Houston? By the way? Wait, Houston. Could he go there, Houston? Because their quarterback's Donovan Smith's a senior, right?
Yeah, he should.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Well,
I would like to stop watching him play football.
I'll just throw that in there, but I'll go.
Okay, that's a possibility.
Sure. I was gonna go at Maryland.
Following Tulia.
Talia is a super senior, so he's gone.
Right.
Mike Loxley has a tremendous history with Polynesian players in general.
True.
And then also, he's a quarterback. So.
Yeah, they don't have really a guy like a top recruiter or anything either. So that's I can think of off the top of my head. So
and then last one is not really a place, but more of a coach. Watch out to see if GJ Kinney, right, gets another job this year, and wherever he goes, I think Delora might be of interest to him.
I mean, he would work in CJ Kinney's system. He's actually somewhat similar to CJ Kinney, only smaller. But okay, interesting. Those are all interesting possibilities. Any other big time transfers you're expecting in the conference? Either due to coaching change or just guys not being happy or playing time or scheme changes or things like that, Donovan?
I mean, there's a lot of them. I mean, I would probably just stick to quarterbacks. I mean, I'd go on all day transfers.
Well, I mean, hit the ones you think have the most chance to make an impact, and whether they be quarterbacks or not. And then obviously,
the first one that comes to mind is Dante Moore from UCLA. I just don't know. Like I said, we don't know what's gonna transpire in Pasadena with the coaching changes and everything. And I mean, I could see it because there's. It's hard to answer. I mean, Michigan State, they don't have a coach yet, but obviously the connection with him being from Detroit kid, and Michigan's always been a part of his list every time he had a couple lists in high school, but that was always a team that was a part of it. He was committed to Notre Dame, so and his dad, I know, wanted him to go to Notre Dame because he loves the coach there. His name's slipping my mind right now. I'm sorry.
Oh, Marcus Freeman?
The new coach, Handsome.
Marcus
Freeman.
Yeah.
So Marcus. So that's one I'll look at.
So let me get it straight. Yeah. Dante Moore's dad just needed a brother in charge at Notre Dame, and he was like, "All right, son, you're good to go."
I'm not saying that. But he liked him a lot. That was just but kind of.
Hey, Chip Kelly, listen. The quarterback that they have in waiting behind Hartman right now is not leaving Notre Dame. I don't know. I forget what his name is, but it's Italian.
They just had a decommit too. For Notre Dame. So But yeah,
like the
go
backup
ahead,
is like young Italian, tall from New Jersey. I think he came from a Catholic school and is Catholic himself.
oh, you're talking about Signiti?
Yeah,
Or-
something like that. It's
Oh no,
almost like
Angel.
a
You're talking about Steven
Angelo.
Angelini. Steven Angelini.
Angelini.
yeah. It's almost too much of
He's
a
not
match
that.
made in heaven.
He's not that good.
I don't
sorry.
think Moore is gonna go because he literally fits the mold of Notre Dame.
Angelini's not that good. They gotta get another quarterback, dude.
No,
They gotta.
Notre Dame doesn't produce good quarterbacks anymore, but that doesn't mean they won't play them if you look.
I
right.
mean, that doesn't. But I think that. Yeah, we'll see. I think that they're gonna get somebody in the transfer portal. They gotta get somebody because
they'll have to. Right.
They only have Angelini and the true freshman coming in on the depth chart, so they gotta get somebody anyway. You can't just have two quarterbacks on them. They don't have anybody behind. They don't have. They have so many Actually, if you go look at quarterbacks around,
they have a
football. They have so many quarterbacks on other teams. They have like 5 quarterbacks on other teams.
Right.
They're not at Notre Dame anymore.
Right.
Oh, I like what's his name? He's converted to tight end now. What was
Jerkovich.
Jerkovich is now a tight end.
He was a Notre Dame.
Yeah,
right.
and then Buckner.
Yeah, that's 3 right there.
Yeah.
And then there's one more. There's one more.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, who was it?
So they got more quarterbacks and former quarterbacks than they have actually on the team.
Right.
They're gonna go out and they're gonna get what's his name? Petras from Iowa.
Oh,
I didn't even know he was still in college.
He's very much still in college.
I think Freeman's gonna try to get somebody different, man. I think this is a new Notre. I mean,
yeah, Marcus Freeman is not going to be satisfied with Spencer Petras. Good God, why would you be satisfied with Spencer Petras?
You got to get a brother at quarterback. like Q said, Quincy Avery was talking about how they need an inner city quarterback.
First of all, I want to talk.
You remember that, bro?
Yeah. Well, what's appealing about South Bend, Indiana, for inner city kids? And everyone's like, "What's appealing about Tuscaloosa, Alabama?" You know, what's appealing about Columbus, Ohio?
Right.
I like Quincy.
Norman, Oklahoma, or a whole lot of other places.
He reaches.
He rarely reaches. Well, I mean, look who his main quarterback is. You know, look what's his.
And he's cool. Like Quincy's just like kind of man.
He be wild.
He tries to be too. He just like too much, bro. It's like you don't need to do all that. Like I get it.
I like Quincy Avery, and I think
I've been around him too. He's cool.
Yeah. He wants to fight the good fight. Yeah, he wants to fight the good fight, but sometimes there's not a fight to be fought.
He goes about it like Bill does. Bill would say some of the same stuff that Quincy says, but he would just say it in such a more like eloquent way, or like just. It would be a reason behind it instead of just being like, "Oh, I'm just saying it to say it," you know what I mean, type of thing. If that makes sense, you know what I mean. Like, I feel like he just says stuff. He doesn't have like, he's always like trying to keep it real, which is cool, but like sometimes it's just like unnecessary, you know.
Right.
But
sometimes keeping it real goes wrong.
And he says,
just talking to like I've talked to Deshaun Kaiser a little bit. That's a guy I like a lot, man. And I've talked to him. I've talked to some other Notre Dame guys that are. I mean, Deshaun's not from the inner city either. I mean, I know he is, a brother too, but he's from suburbs. But he disagreed. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. With that take, and he's a guy that I like and I trust, and he's been in the NFL, not me, so I know what he says means a lot to me. So I don't know about that, but other transfers, Bill. I mean, I want to see what Utah does because Cam Rising is kind of the elephant in the room. Who does he come back? Does he not? He's like he'll be his 7th year. I don't think he comes back. I think he probably leaves, but no,
I think he comes back.
He might stay. He might stay. Cam loves Salt Lake. He loves Utah.
He does love it.
He loves college. He just.
Clearly.
Let's be real. We know what he's going to do. He's going to come back next year. He's going to have great success. He's going to then become a GA the next year. He's going to then become an assistant position coach the year after that for like the wide receivers. And then after that, he's going to become the wide receiver position coach for like 3 years. He's going to be elevated from wide receiver coach to wide receivers pass game coordinator for another 2 years, then elevated into being the offensive coordinator for another year until becoming the head coach. That's exactly the path Cam Rising is on, and we all see it. Like, let's not mince words here. Let's not pretend that this is not exactly what's going to happen. That if my kids commit to the University of Utah, they will be playing for head coach Cam Rising. And they're going to have a great 10-4 year, and they're going to lose in the Rose Bowl, and it's going to be great. that we all know. Like, come on, like,
Yeah.
you
I
guys,
mean, I think
you guys tell
he
me I'm
might
wrong.
I think he might stick around the NFL for a couple of years.
Probably a couple.
I mean, look at Jake Browning starting the rest of the year, so you can't tell me Cam Rising can't be as good as Jake Browning because he's better to me. I've watched both of them play. I mean,
don't play that game, Dobbin. I just watched Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm gonna watch him at least once more.
And I love Tommy's.
That's troubling.
I had Tommy on Bill's show when he was in high school. Man, remember that?
I do remember that.
And his dad yelling at him, "Dinner's ready." No, dude, it's funny. You remember that, right? Yeah,
I do remember it. I remember thinking
and he still lives with his parents. Remember?
His dad still tells him dinner's ready.
I think he was a junior in high school when that. Or no, he was going into a senior season.
Right? Yeah.
I agree with you, Brock. I just think Cam can. I mean, obviously he's got to stay healthy. That's the only thing about him is that he is.
But can he?
He's 25 and then health and then the concussions too. It's not just like his knees are bad and the concussion problem. So
that's not a great combination.
If he has one more concussion next year, he might just retire and just be a coach, like you said. So yeah, I can see what you're saying. But if he can stay healthy, I can see him having a cup of tea, as Bill says in the NFL, and then going back to Utah. And then
that cup of tea is gonna last 2 weeks. All right.
Man.
First of all,
Jake's been in the NFL for 5 years.
He's 6'2". That's the only reason he's in the NFL. It's because he's 6'2".
Cam's like 6 foot, 6'1".
Yeah, and I'm the president of Egypt. Come on now, he's not 6'1". That dude is small.
And while we're at it, Jake Browning's not 6'2". He's probably 6'1", maybe 3/8. I mean,
I think he came in at what? Well, how tall was he?
I'm on Wikipedia right now. I'm just
Cam Rising.
Wikipedia.
Cam Rising's,
Wikipedia's not his correct height and weight.
Cam Rising has got 6 foot 6'1", dude.
The only reason Jake Browning is in the league is because he had John Ross as a wide receiver. That's it. Jake Browning is one of the most overrated quarterback prospects I've ever seen in my life. I would be great if I had John Ross, Myles Gaskin. Who had another great receiver.
What's his name? Yeah, the light skin, Dante Pettis.
Oh, Dante Pettis.
Dante. So I got speed in college. Yeah, I'm sure I can.
They had a tight end too.
Yeah, they did.
Me and Bill were just talking about Jay Browning a couple.
Right.
That tight end
that flamed out. He had some off the field stuff.
Yeah. They had a fire tight end. I can't think of his name, but he was big too.
Who was it?
He was big. He was not as athletic as people thought he'd be, at least in part because he was incredibly lazy.
Well, Hunter Bryant?
Depressed. No.
I think Hunter Bryant, right?
No, I mean, Hunter Bryant's not the one I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about, they had another. Who was the other one? The one that kind of got kicked out.
Hunter was on. I think Hunter was a freshman on the team that played Alabama in the college football playoff.
Yeah, you're right. All right, let's see.
But yeah, I mean, I've always liked Cam. He's from Newberry Park. I watched him play back home in Southern California. I've always liked him.
Will Disley?
Will Disley?
Was that him?
But I keep thinking it was another one, but he left early, and they asked him basically to leave. Probably as like a redshirt sophomore or something. He had some off the field stuff. What was that kid's name?
Yeah, I remember Will Disley too. I think he was on. He was like the main tight end. But anyway, I mean,
David Ajamu?
I have to think about it. What was this kid's name?
Derek Hunter. I just threw out names out here. Hopefully one will stick.
But
my name is 4-string tight ends now.
Yeah.
No. Now I'm looking at this roster. Yeah, this is ridiculous. No wonder he was so successful.
I mean, yeah, like in high school too, he was. I mean, the dude, like I never really liked him because I was like, bro, they just throw like 70 times a game.
Remember that? Was it a couple of years before that when Keith Price was the quarterback and he played against Robert Griffin III in the Outback Bowl?
No, it was the Alamo Bowl, I think.
Alamo.
Yeah, it was a shootout.
And I think it's the record for points in a non-overtime game. I mean, in the modern.
I remember Keith Price went to Bosco. He started the whole Bosco. Bosco guy. Yeah, he was there when Coach Negro took over. Yes. But oh man, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. 67 to 56.
Yep.
Jesus.
Yep.
Holy macaroni.
Oh, I remember that game. It was crazy. Okay, well, we're going down quite that. Well, see, I guess we're our Pac-12 memories.
We
So,
are.
yeah, we
I was
got-
saying,
we
you
got
asked me
10
about transfers, but
We got 10
Right.
minutes left, so we gotta stuff it in.
Right. So as we move towards the latter part of the show, Donovan, give me at least one or two sort of more, maybe they don't have to be big names, but you think will be like impactful. Maybe they're even almost sleepers, but transfers that you think wherever they land, they will help to change the direction and the vector of the program where they land.
Okay. I think at this point for me, I think Oregon is really deep at wide receiver, and obviously I would assume they're losing Troy Franklin and then Tez Johnson because his eligibility is up. But I don't. But they still have Gary Bryant Jr. and Kyle Casper and Trayshawn Holden and Chris Hudson and Jerrion Dickey, who is a 5-star recruit that's like just kind of buried in the depth chart. Now, one of those guys is going to leave. They're not all going to stay. I know Oregon does play a lot of receivers, but I would say that I don't know, man. I think one of those guys would be gone. So I will say it'll probably be Trayshawn Holden or Kyle Casper that leaves.
Okay.
Or Kyler Casper, excuse me, not Kyle Casper. But yeah, I would say he's at UCLA already. And then now Oregon. So maybe he should not go to a Pac-12 school somewhere else. He just hasn't really played much. He's big, 6'5", 220, big time target, but a little slow, but possession receiver. But
so probably a guy that might be asked to bulk up and maybe move to tight end.
Possibly, yeah, for sure. But I mean, all those guys are super talented, so I kind of just keep my eye on that. It'd be interesting to see where those guys go. And then, yeah, obviously, like I mentioned in the beginning of the show about Sierra Wright. There's going to be a few guys on USC that will not be there next year to be transferred. I know that for a fact. There's a couple already, like just 1 foot out the door. Sierra has 2 feet out the door. He's probably not going to ever play another down for them after he left like that. And I get it, like, bro, get your bag, like get your money, especially with NIL now. And then like he's trying to be an actor and stuff, but you gotta like be good at football before you just start leaving practice to be an actor. Like you can't be like below average cornerback and try to be an actor, bro, playing in movies and stuff like that. Like he's on, what is he on, Blackish, I think, too, or was on that show as a kid, and then like I said, Space Jam and stuff, and like apparently he's trying to go back into the acting field, but like he's a talented corner. Like he's no scrub, but he's just not good enough to be bouncing back from Hollywood to practice, you know what I mean, type of deal. So I wish the best for him wherever he lands. But I think Corey Foreman probably play his last games. Well, he's probably not going to play too much, but he'll have to suit up his last games for USC. I think it's about time for him to transfer, man. He's been at USC for 3 years. 5-star recruit, number 1 in the country at one point, just buried on the depth chart, hasn't played much. Don't really see him playing. He's in the doghouse right now, apparently. But we'll see. He might come back with a new DC and everything, but I just don't see him playing. If I was him, I'd probably transfer somewhere else. But he can be impactful somewhere else, though, for sure, because he has the talent. He's shown flashes for sure. Give you one more. Some of the UCLA guys, man, like I said, I think we just talked about all the quarterbacks. I mean, I wish they would give some quarterbacks in Notre Dame. They have like 6 quarterbacks on their roster, but I still think Ethan Garbers is got something in him. I don't think he's ever going to be great, but I don't think he's bad. I know you don't like him, but
what is there to like?
He played better than Dante Moore, by the way.
Well, Dante Moore is like 18.
I know, but everyone told me Dante Moore's already better than Ethan Garbers. That's what everybody told me on Twitter when I said Ethan Garbers is going to.
Right.
And Dante Moore is way more talented than Ethan Garbers. I know he's more
not gonna lie. I said that as well.
Remember. But yes, I've seen this movie before, right? I saw. Remember when Tate Martell was supposed to beat out Dwayne Haskins? Remember when, there's a long.
Yeah, I mean, he's not that. Yeah,
but I'm saying there's a long.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
But there's a long line of these. Oh, this guy's going to come in and start right away and be the blah 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 blah. I mean, even when Matty Mock, remember he transferred down.
That's my guy right there.
Right, but remember when Matty Mock transferred down, right? He transferred down to Eastern Kentucky. Never played, right? Benny Coney, shout out to Benny Coney, never lost the job, held on to it.
Matty Mock was also drunk the whole time, but yeah.
Also true. Yes.
Yeah, that might not help either.
That man was lit, bro. Like that, I've heard so many stories about Matty Mock, dude. Like I'm not saying I have like all these ties to Missouri or anything, but at Missouri, man, that man was an animal. They said,
Yeah,
that man would just
correct.
walk in a frat party, just start doing keg stands, like he was a normal person, but he had a game the next day. But what's like? I mean, yeah, I know. Ethan Garbers is frustrating to me because I think he has a lot of talent, but he I don't know, man. He for one needs to get off TikTok and Instagram as much.
You think that might be part of the issue? Is just too much time on social media?
Yes, because his girlfriend is like a huge TikTok influencer. I know he's been in the LA. He's been in the LA. He's been living it up in LA. Is all I can say about Ethan.
That'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it. Hey, Ethan's a good looking dude too, man. So I don't blame him. Like you see him, he's blonde hair. I mean, he's a California boy through and through. But no, I like Ethan. But yeah, I mean, Dante's more talented. And Colin Shaley's there too. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan. I don't know about them. I don't like any of those guys, man. Honestly, I mean, I like Dante. Like I said, I do think if next year a coach comes in, whoever you say, let's say Jonathan Smith, you want to keep Dante Moore over Ethan Garbers and Shealy and all those other guys for sure. You want to build around him and keep him there. I just thought, and I get what you're saying. Dante Moore and Chip Kelly was like a match made in heaven with the way he runs and everything. And he's 6'3", 220. He's athletic as hell. But I don't know, man. It just turns the ball over a lot. And Ethan doesn't really.
Yep.
But although Ethan doesn't give you the ability, he can't throw past like 20 yards. He has no arm strength. So
he
I mean,
has zero arm strength.
But I mean, you got Carson Steele and Colson Yankoff, who used to be quarterback. He's like running back, tight end ish now. I don't know, plays like just kind of random positions. But they got some talent there. But I think they might have some guys transfer out depending on what the coaching happens. But they got some talented guys, man, especially on defense up front. And I know they're gonna lose. What's the edge rusher's name? The first round pick.
He's about
Yeah. They're obviously. He's a senior anyway, but they're going to lose.
I think they're going to lose Gabriel Murphy as well, the other edge rusher.
Yeah, they'll lose him. John Humphreys will be gone, and Churchwell and those guys. But yeah, I'll say one of those guys will transfer on offense. I don't know. I mean, one of the quarterbacks. Yeah, they have to. Like you can't.
Right.
So I have a bit of a prediction that kind of lines up with this. Depending on the eligibility of these players. I think that potentially Dante Moore, Carson Steele, J. Michael Sturvant, and Kyle Ford are all going to leave Westwood with Chip Kelly as they go up to Pullman, Washington.
I
think
Pullman, Washington.
I think Chip Kelly's going to be the next head coach of Washington State.
Oh, sweet God. Okay, well, if you're right, okay, this feels like an article.
It actually is. By the way, everyone, it'll be coming out this weekend. Why Washington State should hire Chip Kelly. So another shameless plug. But yeah, as we have the last 90 seconds of the show, I just wanted to add that little snippet beforehand.
Excellent.
Also, USC, if they're smart, if he does hit the portal, should go out and get Cam Ward because his talents are being wasted up in Pullman right now. And I think he will not declare for the NFL draft. I think he'll stay in college for one more year.
You don't like Mekhi Nelson and Miller Moss?
Not like I like Cam Ward. You tell me Cam Ward's arm, athleticism, and intelligence.
I like Cam Ward. I just think like
Lincoln Riley's offense. Also, Dorian Singer is going back to Arizona, I think.
Oh. Okay.
I think you're risking losing Malachi Nelson, bringing in another quarterback. And that's kind of dangerous because, I mean, if you get Cam Ward, that's great, but it'd be for 1 year. And Nelson is freshman.
With the last 30 seconds, what have you seen from Nelson that says you like him? Because I haven't seen what I like. I haven't seen it.
I mean, he hasn't played in college yet, but I mean, as far as high school tape,
it was brief. He played against second stringers, and it was no bueno.
But yeah, it was his first game. You're talking about the San Jose State game?
Yeah.
No, so I thought did he play against Stafford?
They threw him in a little bit. I mean, I think Miller Moss starts next year, but
Miller Moss
not Nelson.
next year. Yeah.
He'll be a senior too. So, he already graduated. kind of
Well,
does. He graduated early. He graduated in 2 years. I don't know how he did that. But.
He can graduate to the group of 5 because Cam Ward should be a Trojan.
I could see that though for sure. And a lot of USC fans aren't sold on Miller Moss because I know he's kind of like just used to seeing Caleb Williams now. They don't want to go back to like Miller Moss is kind of like an old school USC quarterback where he's kind of similar to like a Matt Barkley or some guy like that. Yeah.
Right. Or your
I
boy.
I wish Jackson Dart could come back to USC next year.
Here we go. Here we go.
I mean, he could. He still got eligibility.
He's going back to Ole Miss. He said he's going back, so we're not getting him back.
Got it. Okay. Well,
I wish.
Is there a final question that you might have for Donovan James before we close this out?
Yes, I do. Who will USC or who are your top picks for USC to hire next year in terms of their defensive coordinator opening?
Probably Jim Leonard and Zach Arnett, I would say.
Back to Jim Leonard.
I'm trying to think of another one. What's wrong with Jim Leonard?
What's right with him?
Coach O would be like a dream scenario.
That'd be great.
I'm trying to be realistic though.
No, Coach O's only coming back for a head coaching job.
Yeah, he's not gonna come back and be the DC. But Andy Avalos is somebody I wrote an article about. He shouldn't be a top choice, but I think that could be somebody that can come. Because I know he got fired from Boise State, but really, the guy is a good DC. He's a pretty good coach. It's just that you got a standard at Boise State winning every year and being a winning team. They have the highest, the top. They have the most winning seasons, and that's broken with him this year. So I guess that's why they fired him. But I would love if Sean Nua can keep his job. I don't think he will. I do like Sean Nua a lot. I want to retain him on staff. But as far as some DC, I don't know if he would be up for that job. Probably should hire somebody better. But I do like Sean Nua.
So I kind of created a little bit of solution that keeps your boy Nua there in like an elevated role. But the DC should be 73-year-old Rocky Long. I'm not joking. His 3-3-5 defense. Rocky Long built great defenses at San Diego State and New Mexico, 2 places that are not known for the defenses. He helped mentor Brian Urlacher to be one of the greatest linebackers of all time, one of the great defenders of all time. Rocky Long runs a style of defense where he can plug and play virtually any player of any different versatility or size or anything like that, and they produce results. You already know that USC is not going to give him the scholarship necessary to build a good defense with a standard formation. So you're bringing in a coordinator with decades of experience, a guy that's a pretty good recruiter, and a guy that's won championships and built defenses in places that aren't good, known for the defenses. I think it's a home run hire. And also, he's going to retire in like 3 years, so you can have your boy kind of grow up under him, and then he can take the reins right after he goes off into the sunset or back to San Diego.
That makes sense. I don't think he'll actually get hired, but that makes sense. That's a good one. I like that one. That's out of the box. So I've never heard anybody say, Rocky Long for that one. That's interesting. That's a good one though. Especially for Sean Nua to kind of learn. I would say Kid Norton Jr. would be another one too, and then damn it, there was another one I had in my head. I can't think. Oh Jesus, I can't think of it. I lost my train of thought. But go ahead. Sorry.
No one thinks what I think.
Depending on what happens at Michigan, Jesse Minter may or may not become available as well.
Oh, no, that's what I was going to say, Bill. I'm sorry. You said Michigan. It was Chris Patridge. He just got fired today for no reason. But shut up. Chris Patridge would be a good one. Talk about recruiting his ass off. He is one of the best recruiting coordinators in the country. And, I guess he's the fall guy now for Michigan. He got fired. One of the best linebacker coaches in the country and number 1 defense in the country. So I don't know why he got fired. Top 5 defense in the country. So Chris Patridge would be a good one.
I'll put him
but
on
I don't
know. Too. Yeah.
I also don't know. I don't know about what's going on with him and why they're doing an investigation on him and blah blah. So I don't know if they want to bring that in, but he's a good coach. So
I got it. Well, as always, the show's gone a little longer than planned, but whatever. What are they gonna do? Fire me? It has been a great evening. I have very much enjoyed. And please, Donovan, tell everyone where they can find your work and follow you, sir, and tell them what you're up to and anything else that you're working on.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at Don James Sports. Name remains the same. Just hit me up over on Trojans Wire. Hit me up over there on Twitter and then or X, whatever it's called now, and then Trojan Wire. always doing stuff over there, man. We got, articles I just put out about coaching searches, like you guys mentioned, and just kind of finishing up on recruiting now. So going into more of, man, I'm already deep in the 2026, 2027 class, honestly. So
Damn.
this class is pretty much over with for USC. I mean, they might get some flips here and there, but this class is almost pretty much done. But definitely still talking to recruits, got some stuff up over there. And then the coaching searches, like you said, and see what's going on with transfers and people in and out of USC and everything like that. But yeah, man, and I got some stuff coming up with you guys. I asked y'all a bunch of questions this weekend, so I'll have that up probably
Yes.
Monday.
Yep.
And it's a lot of stuff we're talking about, whether it be Brendan Rice. I know Brock had a take on him, and then Bill with Caleb Bullock and Caleb Williams and a bunch of those guys, what their NFL prospects are looking like for coming up season. So I'm excited. And like you guys mentioned before, Senior Bowl, I guess they're allowing juniors now to play in, which I don't know how y'all feel about that. But, I mean, it's kind of good and bad, I guess. From what I've heard, it's kind of mixed reaction. But I'm excited to see what guys get invited as juniors to the Senior Bowl. Or other bowl games, too.
Yep. Well, once again, thank you so much. On behalf of, well, I'll just tell you on behalf of, let me see. There we go. So on behalf of that man right there, my co-host Brock Vieira, on behalf of Team MBS Media, and I just want to thank once again the man himself, Mr. Pac-12, our number 2, but climbing. So we'll see how Josh Keatley does next week. If he can hold on to the coveted number 1 FOS friend of the show ranking. Once again, everybody, I thank you so much for your time, your talent, your attention. Thank you so much for joining us.